Hi everybody, it's Chrissy from Knitting in the Heights. I'm coming to you from a very rainy evening in New York City on July 14th. This is not going to be about anything other than stash that is leaving my stash. So if you don't know, I have a pretty extensive stash that goes back several years. I was very fortunate to be friends with somebody who owned a yarn store when I lived in North Carolina. And I was also very fortunate to know when all the sales were happening in her yarn store. And I've just collected lots and lots of yarn over the years. And so this weekend I was chatting with my friend Josh, whose birthday was this weekend, by the way. Happy birthday, Josh. And we had done a yarn exchange for our birthdays. I gave him a bag of minis, of 10 minis. 10 minis? Yes. And he gave me a bag of 10 minis so that we can each make projects from them. My minis are going to go into socks for Gabriel because they're very much his colors. He's currently casting on the colors that I gave him for his birthday to make himself a pair of socks. So that's really cool. Anyway, we'll talk more about projects another time. But one of the things that got us talking about was like things we want to make and stash and things like that. And I've been feeling really weighed down by my stash. I was also saying last episode that I just bought another advent calendar, and I am using my advent calendars. I do use them to make projects. I just finished a project that used my advent from this year, but there are lots of leftovers. And I do like using minis to make socks and things like that. Not just for cuffs, heels, and toes. I use them for Franken socks. I'm currently making a sweater out of scraps too, which I'll talk more about next episode. But anyway, we were just talking about our stash collections that we have. And there's a lot of yarn in my stash I'm just never probably going to use. And so as I was going through things and I was like showing some ideas to Josh about future projects and things like that, I'm coming across some things and I'm like, what if I gave this to you, Josh, because you would really like it. So anyhow, I've gathered a bunch of things I'm going to give to Josh, and this is just kind of my episode or to talk about like what's coming out of my stash. I need to weigh all of this so it can go into my stash down, but it will be a gift to him. I also need to put into my stash down the gift of the mini skeins. I did that in June so that I can also go down in my stash down. So basically each year since 2023, I joined in Little Mitch Stitch's stash down in 2023. And I just loved the Excel spreadsheet she created that helps you track your stash in and out and also your projects. And so I did it last year. I didn't do as much knitting last year, but this year I didn't do a ton of knitting this year either until the last couple months, and now it's like going crazy. But anyway, let me show you the stash that Josh is going to get because I think it'd be really cool just to explore what's coming out of my stash. And most people really like to know what's in people's stashes. All right, so I have a couple cones of yarn. This is Carolina Homespun. It is a cone. Wow, it's homespun yarn. I had no idea. So it's this really pretty blue that has all these cool flecks. Josh is going to love this. I have no idea. I have no idea any more information about this, but there's a second cone of yarn over here. It's from the same place. I don't think this is homespun. I think they're from the same company. They look exactly the same. In fact, in this one, it has the real tag. This is it's 500 yards, 228 grams. They're both 228 grams. They've never been used. So I'm not sure why it's called Carolina Homespun. I think whoever was selling it, maybe that's the name of their stall or something. But this is pure virgin wool. Oh, it's a Harrisville Designs. 2 cones of Harrisville Designs. So we got a purple tweed and a teal blue tweed. And they actually go really well together. So I'm sure Josh will have fun making this. They look like they're DK weight yarns. Very rustic. Okay, so that's a first start. I have like little scrappy stuff, just so you know too, because like some of it I don't even know what it is. This is a remnant of a pair of sock yarn that I got from someone who destashed to me a lot of their remnants over the years. When I was first a knitter, I wanted to make a Cozy Memories blanket, but I didn't have lots of minis. That's so funny now to me because I have so many minis. They're coming out my ear holes. Anyway, so she gave me this really cool yarn. I know I've made stuff for Gabriel with this. So the remnants are going to Josh. So let's see what this gets up to. And my scale's being really funny right now. I'm gonna weigh this. And I'm gonna have to weigh it a couple times. It looks like 24 grams. 24 grams. All right, of that. And then we have this. This is called Wildfoot. I have no idea how long ago this was made or existed. But it's Wildfoot in the peasant blue colorway. And it's just a teeny tiny bit. So let's weigh that real quick. I don't even know if I want to take it off the sleeve, but let me go ahead and do that. Only because I don't want to weigh the paper. Never mind. It's stuck to the paper. Well, here we go. Okay, let's see how much that is. 11 grams. Okay. All right, so we got that. We have some, I don't like knitting with cotton. I don't like it at all. It's gotten harder on my hands over the years. I have an entire ball of sugar and cream in the Overcast colorway, which is a really pretty gray, actually. I did have plans to make this into like a washcloth or something for my sister, and that never came to fruition, so Josh is getting that. Some other cotton yarns I found in my stash, very deep stash. A lot of this. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. We have two other cotton yarns. These are a little bit more fancy. So we have this one, which is a Fibra Natura in Radiant Cotton. It's 100% Egyptian cotton. That'll make a really pretty something. It's in the Viola colorway. I didn't even realize that. Viva Viola. Yeah, basically, Josh and I both play the viola, so he'll be very happy. I'll have to tell him that. He'll get a kick out of it. And this has got, it's 100 grams of DK weight cotton. Then we have another DK weight. It's Phoenix DK and by Ella Ray. This is in the colorway 1023. It doesn't have a colorway name, but it's a pretty like rose colored. Again, it's 100 grams. This is 100% combed mercerized cotton. What else have we got? I'm trying to save some of the cooler things. All right. We've got some hand spun. This is my only attempt at actual hand spun that I did with a drop spindle that actually made yarn. It is a single ply yarn. I asked Josh if he wanted it. He said he'll do something with it. So I'm glad somebody is. I can't even tell you, I can't remember much about this other than I bought this many years ago and discovered quickly drop spindling is not for me because it actually hurts my finger for some reason. It's like a repetitive strain injury thing, and I can't do it. It's 18 grams of who knows what weight. It's homespun, and it's not very good homespun at that, but it's fun. It's probably like a worsted-ish. Oh, is it a single ply or a double ply? Oh, it's a double. Maybe it's a, I can't tell. No, it's a double ply. I plied it on itself. It was my only attempt at plying on itself. So it looks like it's a double ply. But that'll be fun for Josh to play with for something. Okay, then we have a skein and a full skein and some change of Barocco Comfort Sock. This is a great alternative to wool for people that do actually have wool allergies. I made mitts for both my sister and my mom out of this beautiful color. The colorway on this is 1713. It is a charcoal gray. I made 2 pairs of mitts out of it. And my mom was very allergic to wool. It uses 500% superfine nylon, and it's also got 50% superfine nylon, 50% superfine acrylic, and it's super soft. It's a fingering weight, great for socks, but also for other things. I talked to Josh about this. His stepmom, I believe, is allergic to wool, and there's enough in here to like make a shawl or something. So let's weigh this, because one of these balls is, how much is it? I think doesn't say, actually. Yeah, sometimes they, oh no, here it does. 100 grams is one ball. So we've got 131 grams. That's significant. And there's 447 yards in one of these. So that's a lot of yarn. So we're talking at least probably 600 yards. So he can make an incredible shawl for somebody out of this. All right, what's next? Okay, we've got a teeny tiny little bit of this. It's a DK weight yarn. I can't remember. I made this one thing. It was supposed to be like a sweater out of the Pom Pom Quarterly magazine, and I talked previously about my crazy issues with sweater dimensions, and this is kind of where it started. It was like the first sweater I had made. It was a really beautiful color. I love this color. Really pretty. And I knit on this thing non-stop for what felt like months. It's probably in my Ravelry queue. I didn't even take a picture of this thing when it was done. It was a tent. It was like 4 sizes too big for me. I put it on. I looked at myself in the mirror, started laughing and crying simultaneously because of the amount of work I put into this thing. Anyway, I ended up, it's a long story. I got so frustrated with it. I know I could have reclaimed all of this really expensive yarn, but instead I started unraveling it. I got frustrated and just said, forget it. Because I had actually woven in all the ends. I had done all of it, and I was like, I can't do this. It was so frustrating. Anyway, this was when I was an earlier knitter and had less patience with myself and everything. But anyway, really pretty little bit of DK weight yarn for Josh to play with, to put an accent on something. And then I have a little tiny ball also. This is the stuff you make scrubbies out of. So I know Josh has made scrubbies for himself as well. I believe crochet scrubbies. And I think he has more of this. So this would be like a nice little accent color for him to use in a scrubby. Okay, we have, and I'm not opening this because it's going to be a hot mess. But at one point I was going to crochet a toy or knit a toy that had a squirrel tail. And this was like the recommended faux fur. And we know Josh likes crazy faux fur, weird, like different kinds of yarns to knit with to make garments. So it's a cool color. I can't see a colorway in particular. I'm sure this is it's 100 grams skein. So it's another 100 grams coming out of my stash. So he can have fun with this, putting like a faux fur color on something he's going to make. I think he'll dig that. Anyway. He's rather fabulous like that, so I think he'll have fun. I do have a couple, I also have some, black tea in here because I don't drink black tea, but I've been given black tea for things. All right, in here is also some deep stash. So again, my mom was allergic to wool when she was alive, and so I would try to find other fibers for her. And I found this really pretty, it does have wool in it, but it's also got a lot of silk. So I didn't think it's merino and silk. It's Mulberry Meadow, and the colorway is Pebble. And I think this is a 50-gram ball. Yeah, this is 50 grams. And then we have this little bit extra. So it's not even weighing. Come on, how much is there? 2 grams? Is that right? Yeah, I think it's wait, hold on. It's just, the scale is wacky. I don't know if it's because my fan is on it that it's like wacky. It says it's like 2 grams. So it's like 52 grams. So, you know, you can make some mitts out of it. You can do something with it. Yeah, I don't know. Let him, these are definitely like earthy colors. He would love that. I mean, you can put that with the faux fur. Who knows? Who can say what he's going to do with this? I hope he enjoys. Yeah, and then I have this yarn. This is an American wool. It's pretty rustic, fingering weight. I used it to make my first cardigan that I ever made, and it did that fit well. It was just really itchy, and then I lost a bunch of weight, and then it didn't fit anymore. So I ended up giving it to a friend of mine, or it ended up being too big in the first place, and I gave it to a friend of mine. But yeah, it was a really pretty cardigan that I knit. So let's see how much is left of this. 48 grams. Okay, and that's fingering weight, so he can do something fun with that. But the pièce de résistance, this is the same yarn, but in a cranberry colorway. I think that this green is called Meadow. I think it's American Wool Company or something like that. But again, it's a natural wool. There's no nylon in it. It's pretty rustic. But Josh and I were talking this weekend. There's a shawl we found. I'll put the name of the shawl and a picture of the shawl here. And I have a cream color, like well, it's actually a beige color. It's like called Sand Dune of the same yarn. And this stuff's been caked up since like 2016 or something. It needs to be used and made into something. And I have this other really beautiful skein that I got from Sweet Sparrow Knits. It's in like a Highland wool, if I remember right. And it's a beautiful colorway. It's like the base of it is cream, and then it's got that sort of sand dune color with like speckles of blue. And it's like it was from her Celtic folklore and fairy tales club that she did a few years ago. And those colors together are going to make a glorious shawl. And so I was talking to Josh. I said, I showed him this thing, and he's like, oh, that's so beautiful. I love that shawl. So I was like, well, do you want some of my yarn? Because I was thinking about this color, but then I came across this color. This was a gift somebody had given me. This is Birch Hollow Fibers in the Dryad colorway. And these are not my colors, but I think it's absolutely beautiful yarn. And I want to make sure it gets used because it just needs to be used. And together, I think that is something that's pretty glorious. And so basically Josh is going to have a new shawl and I'm going to have a new shawl. So the plan is for us to have a shawl along and do this shawl starting on Labor Day. It's a free pattern. If you want to join along, please let us know below. We'd love to have you join us. You'll probably finish it before either of us. Anyhow. So that's a stroll through my yarn stash. The minis I gave Josh were just various minis that I found in my collection of minis that ended up being 100 grams and some change. So, they were leftovers. Some of them were leftovers from my last advent calendar, actually. And yeah, I think they may have been all from that advent calendar, and they were colors that I wasn't gravitating towards for other projects. So they were very him, they were very his colors, and they were like 10 grams or less. So, and they kind of made a really cool fade. Pop in the picture from Josh here so you can see the cool fade that they made. And yeah, that's kind of it. So we've got a lot of yarn coming out of my stash. I am putting the total right here on the screen, and we're excited to see what happens next. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this very, very short episode. I will come back to you in August, hopefully, with progress on all of the knitty projects. All right, everyone, have a great night. Bye-bye.